All right, we have another big story here. A Fox News alert: growing tensions for the U.S. forces in the Middle East. The Navy shooting down anti-ship ballistic missiles launched by Houthis in the Red Sea. It was the first time the Navy has ever done this in battle.
More than 100 U.S. bases have been targeted by Iran proxies since October, including a Christmas Day attack in Iraq that injured 3 troops, leaving 1 in critical condition.
Yeah, to give us some more expertise on this, our next guest knows all about fighting the war on terror. We're having retired Navy Commander Kirk Lippold, and he's joining us now. Commander, thank you for joining us. We've talked about this. I kind of feel like I'm beating a war drum here, but that's not what I'm trying to do. My concern is that my brothers and sisters, to include my own nephew in one of these carrier strike groups, they're already at war. They're targets in water and on land, and we're not taking that seriously here at home, perhaps even the administration. Give us your assessment of all of these attacks, and now 3 service members injured, 1 in critical condition.
Well, Joey, I think you're absolutely right. Right now, the United States is in a period of extreme strategic danger. When you look at what is happening globally between Russia, China, and now especially with Iran, when we send our young men and women forward to defend our national security interests around the globe, there is an expectation that if something were to happen to them, there will be a response by the U.S. government. I lived through the fact that our government didn't respond to the attack on my ship when 17 sailors were killed. Yeah. And when you look at over 100 attacks now on U.S. forces with virtually nothing being done, that is cause for concern for not only the young men and women that serve our great nation, but also the American people, because what it's sending a signal is that we are unwilling or unable to defend our national security interests around the globe.
Kirk, I want to ask you, why is it that this administration has not redesignated these Houthis as a terrorist organization? One of the first things President Biden did when he came into office in February is remove that designation. And now they have been launching attack after attack. Remember in November, that video of armed Houthi rebels, it looked like a Hollywood movie, taking a cargo ship. If that's not terrorism, I don't know what is.
Griff, you're absolutely right. And why the Biden administration has not moved more swiftly to designate them as a terrorist organization. They moved from a disenfranchised minority that challenged the government that was Saudi Arabia backed earlier, several years ago, and they've created problems. But now Iran is using them as one of their proxies to continue to disrupt and destabilize the Middle East. They're giving them weapons that are now being used in a terroristic fashion. And so consequently, they should be designated as a terrorist organization. But at the end of the day, Griff, I think what you have to look at is we have to solve the problem, not the symptom, and the problem is Iran. We must at some point come to grips with the fact that Iran is behaving as a terrorist nation, and they are threatening not only us, not only Israel, but the entire region.
So the United States has announced this coalition of 10 countries to respond to these attacks in the Red Sea by the Houthis. It was about 2 weeks ago that announcement was made, and clearly that hasn't been a significant enough deterrent. So what should the United States do? And not just the U.S. I mean, these missile attacks in the Red Sea are targeting ships from countries around the world.
Carly, I think what it's going to come down to is one simple but very effective word, and that is leadership. President Biden needs to exhibit the kind of leadership that the nation is yearning for right now. When we started with this coalition that we were building to protect maritime traffic in the Red Sea, the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb, the Gulf of Aden, the bottom line is many countries said they were willing to participate but not allow their ships to come under U.S. control. Why? Because they don't have faith in U.S. leadership right now that we're going to put together a coalition that is going to be able to defend it. And so consequently, what you have is the United States is not acting in a manner that is going to safeguard that maritime traffic, and you're going to have these shipping companies that are going to continue to be reluctant to send their ships through the Suez Canal, through the Red Sea, and consequently you have a disruption of maritime traffic around the world, which the United States cannot afford, because that sends a signal to China when it comes to the South China Sea.
It is all connected. Kirk Lippold, retired Navy commander, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Kirk.
Thank you, Carly.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.